Hello and welcome back to Faster and Louder. Today's slept-on sleeper is a 1974 through 1978 AMC Matador Coupe.
Introducing one of the biggest surprises of 1974.
Hey, nice.
The new American Motors Matador.
I'm sure all the AMC guys are over the moon that I'm mentioning a Matador Coupe, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of guys either don't know what it is or they're just groaning right now. Ugh, AMC, gross, whatever. But hear me out, okay? You guys, before you turn off this video, just listen. Throughout the Matador's production from 1971 to 1978, it never really got the attention that it kind of deserved as a muscle car by the general public. A lot of people just didn't know what this car was. If they didn't know what it was, they kind of just considered it a regular family car, which in a lot of ways it was, because they offered four-door versions, they offered station wagon versions. They had all kinds of stuff going on for the Matador, but there were some nice options that you could get on the Matador to really make it a muscle car. In 1971, they offered a Go Machine package, which is super rare, very hard to prove that it actually is or isn't this package, because it's not an actual trim level or anything like that. It literally would only show it on the build sheet. But it was, I believe it had special decals on it. I know that it came with a 360 or 401. Didn't matter what the transmission was, but a 4-speed manual transmission was available in 1971, so you could get a Go Machine package with that. But if you can find one of those, it's going to be very expensive, probably out of your price range, and if you're watching this video trying to find an affordable muscle car, that will not be it. Another thing that's interesting about the Matador is it does have some racing pedigree. And this is another thing that a lot of people just don't know. If you do follow NASCAR or you were into NASCAR in the 70s, 80s, whatever, then you probably know that Bobby Allison drove Matador. He drove one that was for Penske in 1973, and I believe there was only one or two races won that season at the Matador, which was affectionately known as the Flying Brick because of its amazing aerodynamics, obviously. But they went on to use the redesigned Matador, which was from 74 to 78. It's a Matador Coupe, two-door, and that one is a little more aerodynamic, and they won some more races with that one. I believe Bobby Allison won 4 more races in the 74 and 75 season. Despite the 1973 oil crisis, the new aerodynamic and interesting design of the Matador Coupe helped it win a lot of races and helped it sell some cars on dealership too. Believe it or not, it was actually named the best style car of 1974 by Car and Driver. The standard Matador only came with a small 232 straight 6 engine, so it was definitely not quick by any means. But you still could order the Matador Coupe with the 401 V8 in 1974 only. From 75 to 78, you could still get the 360, but that's as big as you could go. Sales started off rather strong for the Matador Coupe and then dropped off significantly, and they ended production altogether by 1978. So it was a pretty short run. They also had some really ugly personal luxury options like the Barcelona Oleg Cassini. They had that really ugly opera window thing in the back pillar is just ugly. But we're not going to talk about that. It's not super important. Honestly, one of the most intriguing aspects of the Matador is the price of entry right now. Just the price to get one in the first place. A lot of these classic cars are really expensive because even the less desirable ones, like the 75 and up darts and stuff like that, people like David Freiberger, they make them popular by putting them on roadkill and stuff, and then before you know it, everybody wants one. And they're expensive, even if you get the base model ones and everything. So a Matador, nobody knows what the hell it is. So it's a pretty cool car that you can get for pretty cheap. Finding one for less than $5,000 in decent shape is not impossible. I would say it's not even really that difficult at all. to find one for under $5,000, and they are going up, just like every other classic car from that era. They're going up. So if you want to get one, this might be one of the last chances you get here in the next couple of years. I do want to say though, one thing that you can do to really change how a Matador Coupe looks, and it's, in my opinion, this makes it completely different. This might be a game changer for you. If you're thinking, this car is so ugly, I don't know if I can be seen in public with it. This is one thing that I've seen people do a few times, is all they do, and this may not be for you, but they take the front and the back bumpers off completely. And in my opinion, it looks like this car was designed without them, and then they're like, ah, crap, we gotta add bumpers. And then they just threw the bumpers on, and it looks really gaudy and just bad. And I know a lot of cars from that era do, because government regulations were really squeezing them to be more safe and fuel efficient, so on and so forth. So it was really hard to make that all work. But yeah, take the bumpers off, changes the look of the car. And if you put different wheels on it and stuff, it looks so much better, so much better. These cars are a little on the heavy side. They're not super heavy, they're not like Cadillac heavy or anything like that, but they're about 3,800 pounds, which is roughly the same as like a later model G-body from GM, like Grand Prix, Monte Carlos, that kind of stuff. It's about the same weight as that for a point of comparison, if that makes any difference. They're not super heavy, but they're not really that light either. If I could buy one of these, what I would do is just get a 360. They share, it's the same engine they use in Jeeps forever, 360s. They put them in like Grand Wagoneers, like the big Jeeps, all that stuff. So they're all over the place. So they made 360s all the way up until, I want to say into the 80s, but I can't remember when exactly right now. I think it might have been all the way till like 87 or 89. So they made them for a long time, is what I'm trying to say. They're not hard to find. They're very cheap. 360s compared to 401s is a crazy difference in price. It costs the same amount of money to build either one of them, but a 401 needing to be completely rebuilt is at least like $1,500 right now. You can still find 360s for very cheap, sometimes even free if you're lucky. So consider that if you're wanting to get into it. But they have good transmissions. They used torque flights. They used 904s. They used 727s for the automatics. I believe they only had a 4-speed in 71, which would have been a Borg Warner T10. But yeah, overall, pretty cool cars. Some of the body stuff might be kind of hard to find nowadays, but there's a lot of guys on Facebook and everything that help you find parts. It's not as hard as people make it sound for AMC stuff. It's not that bad. Just buy one, okay? I also wanted to point out really quick that I have new t-shirt designs. I'm trying to slowly get more stuff onto the fasterandlouder.com website. But if you go to the website, there's a shop button at the top of the website. You can go there and check out the designs. I'm wearing the Praise Hell Raise Dale shirt. It's kind of just an inside joke. Don't take it too seriously. But if you can help me out, I can continue making really cool videos. I can do stuff to the Javelin. Thanks, guys.